Hey everyone, welcome back to Solo Party. My name is Kane, and today we are continuing our Ironclad Ascension run in Slay the Spire, the board game. We've got Act 2 set up, but the first thing we need to do before we can begin is get our rare card reward that we earned for defeating the Act 1 boss in the last video. I got caught up with the tiny house stuff, so we did forget to get that, but let's go ahead and draw our rare card to see what we get. So we have Immolate, a 2-cost, 5 damage AoE that also puts Dazed into our deck. Uppercut, a 2-cost attack for 3 damage, vulnerable and weaken. Or Offering, a 0-cost skill, lose 1 HP, gain 2 energy, draw 3 cards, and exhaust. And off the top of my head, we have card draw and we have AoE. We don't have anything that inflicts weaken yet, and getting more double ups on our vulnerable, because I believe you can stack that up to 3 times. I'll check before we get into combat. But I think getting another big attack with debuffs is going to be helpful. So we're going to take Uppercut. Next thing we need to do is roll to see what boss we're facing. So let's go ahead and roll the die. And on a 3, that means we're going to be facing this guy right here. Okay, so we'll put him up at the top where the boss for Act 2 goes. And then we can begin. We start here with the boot at the bottom with a regular encounter. There's no starting encounters like there is on the Act 1 floor. So we'll just draw a random Act 2 encounter and see what we get. And we're facing the Chosen. So we've got the Chosen. We'll also summon a Cultist. We've got, as you can see, so we've introduced the 2-digit format here. So 10 forward, 14 health starting out. We'll put 1 tracker on each spot there to note that. And it's going to give us a coin, a potion, and a card reward when we defeat it. You can see it's going to be using a cube action system here. So it will start here, and then it'll start rotating between these two. Because again, you never go back to a grayed out slot when you're moving down the cube track. Okay, we have drawn our opening hand of a Cleave, upgraded Defend, Bash, upgraded Twin Strike, and our upgraded Rupture. Now let's roll the die. Obviously, the enemies do not have any die actions, but we could still trigger our loaded die. And a 6 lets us trigger a die ability. And again, loaded die is the only one we have that has a die ability, but it does give us a single block. And that's actually going to be really good for us, because I was originally going to full block everything by playing a Defend, but now that we have 1 block that can block the Chosen's damage, we can completely take out the Cultist in this turn. So we're going to start by playing our Rupture card for 0. That's going to gain us another Strength, and we're going to lose 1 HP. And now, lose 1 HP is not taking damage, so we can't block that using our block. So we just have to go down to 10, but we do gain an extra Strength. Okay, and wait, now that I'm actually looking at it, we have enough damage here to take out the Chosen. So we're going to start by spending 2 energy to play our Bash, dealing 2 damage, taking him down to 12, and giving a vulnerable status. Sorry, because of the 2 extra strength, down to 10. And then using our last energy with our Twin Strike, each of these are getting that strength bonus, so that's 4 damage twice against vulnerable, doubles both of those to 8 damage twice, to 16, which is even an overkill for the Chosen. So just like that, 3 energy, and we get to take out the Chosen. With no energy remaining, we do still have our 1 block though, so we will be able to block the Cultist attack. So we'll clean up our area. The Cultist will activate, attacking us for 1, which we will block, and then it will gain a Strength token. And since we're losing the 1 from Mutagen, I'll just go ahead and place that onto the Cultist. And we still keep our 1 that we gained from Rupture. That's a permanent Strength that we will be keeping. We have also put our self-forming clay into effect if we need to use that next turn because of Rupture. And with that, we can start our next turn. So we're going to draw our hand and go back to 3 energy. So for this hand, we have our Dramatic Entrance, Seeing Red. See, I'm going to say it right this time, not Dramatic Influence. Dramatic Entrance, Seeing Red, Uppercut, Defend, and Strike. So we are definitely going to go ahead and play our Seeing Red to gain 2 energy, putting us up to 5. Then we will play Uppercut for 2, taking us back down to 3. That's going to be 3 damage to the Cultist, taking it down to 6, as well as a vulnerable and weakened status effect. And so the weakness is going to be providing a -1 to all attacks in the enemy's next activation, and then it will be removed at the end. So effectively, the Cultist's next attack will only be dealing 1 damage. And sorry, I keep forgetting our strength there. That's a 4 damage attack with the Uppercut, so the Cultist is at 5. Then we will go ahead and play our dramatic entrance for free, and that's going to be 3 because of our strength, doubled because of the vulnerable. So we didn't even have to worry about that weakness because we were able to take out the cultist just like that. And so we are rewarded our 1 gold, putting us to 11. We are at 3 potions, so we will have to discard one if we like the new one that we get. And we drew another explosive potion. We already have one, so I'll just go ahead and discard this one. And then I'll clean up the area and get our card reward. So we have the options of Warcry, Flame Barrier, or Anger. Okay, I don't really want a Warcry, Anger, or Flame Barrier. I think we do need a little bit more defense, and this does at least still do attack damage back whenever we defend. So I do like a Flame Barrier, so we're going to take that. Alright, so eagle-eyed viewers might have noticed that I forgot to populate the random paths before I had started, so I've gone ahead and done that now. And taking a look at things, you know I really like a late game shop, so I'm seeing that up there and liking it. And this path just straight up through the middle, hitting event, probably an upgrade unless we end up taking a lot of damage from these events, into an elite and a shop and one more fight, might just give us a pretty easy Act 2. So I think we're going to try to do that. Act 2 is normally my least favorite part of the digital version, so I think I might give myself some grace here, and let's just go see what this first event is. And it is Naloth. An odd creature stops scrounging through trash to approach you. Naloth hungry. Feed Naloth. So we can choose to offer, give a random relic, shuffle them face down, draw one, and then gain a random rare reward. So we wouldn't get to choose the relic. I don't like that. I kind of like the relics we have anyways. Or we can choose to offer to give a potion and add a random rare card to your deck, or leave and nothing happens. And we have 3 potions, so I think we're just going to go ahead and give up a potion to get a random rare card. So we'll choose to give up our Purity Potion, probably the least likely to be of good use to us, and watch, I'll probably come into the exact fight where I would have loved to have this, but we'll choose that, and then just go ahead and gain the top card off the random rare reward, or just gain the top card off of the rare reward deck. So we drew Limit Break, and we're really happy to see that to help out with us getting more strength. So, Purity Potion for a Limit Break is an incredible get for this event. And now we'll continue to move forward for another event. And now we have Old Beggar. An old beggar cloaked in fur reaches his hands out towards you. Spare some coin, child. We can give to pay 2 and remove a card, which I think we'll choose to do. We're at 11, so we'll go down to 9. This is 1 cheaper than the shop, so just a pretty good way to thin down our deck. We have been adding a couple more cards since the last time, so we'll keep trying to keep it thin. And I think we're just going to continue the tradition of removing some basic strikes. So that's 3 basic strikes removed from the deck. That's pretty good, because that means we're going to be seeing Twin Strike more often, Cleave more often, and things like that. And now we have another event. Now, Ancient Writing. Scaling the city, you notice a wall covered in the writing of ancients. As you try to figure out what it could mean, a message begins to glow. Elegance, we can remove a card, or Simplicity, we can upgrade a starter strike and a starter defend. That's interesting, but yeah, let's just keep doing what I've been saying. Let's keep removing cards. And now I don't want to completely deplete myself of basic attacks just in case, so we'll go ahead and switch it up and get rid of a basic unupgraded defend. We've got Flame Barrier and Ghostly Armor, so I feel pretty good about our defensive options right now. And now after that, we're going to go here, and we healed back to full, to 10 after that last fight, so we are going to choose to upgrade a card. And so we're going to choose to upgrade our Limit Break, so now it does not exhaust, so we'll be able to see this multiple times and keep doubling our strength during a long combat. And with that, let's see which elite we're going to be facing. This is, again, Ascension 1, so all of these elites have been upgraded into their Ascension 1 versions. And we're fighting the Gremlin leader. So he must have heard of the butt whooping we gave the Gremlins on Act 1 and come to defend his men. So let's get this guy set up. Alright, we've got the Gremlin leader set up with 35 HP. Also, in elite fights, whenever you are summoning more minions in this manner, you want to put them closer to your character, with the elite being on the rightmost side. I don't think it mattered when we did it in Act 1 with the sentries, but for something like the Gremlin Leader that gives block and strength to all enemies, if we left the Gremlin Leader on this side, then that would give them that strength before their first attack, which is not how it's intended to be. So, make sure whenever you're fighting an elite like the Gremlin Leader, you have the Gremlin Leader on the right side so you aren't causing yourself unnecessary harm here. But the two random gremlins we drew were another Mad Gremlin, which we saw last act, and a Fat Gremlin. So Fat Gremlin is pretty much the best one you can get in solo because the AoE doesn't really matter. It's just going to be attacking for one over and over. And now I'm noticing, let me get their health trackers for the minions. And so let's draw our starting hand and get started. We can see that we actually have 5 incoming damage on the first turn, which we're not too thrilled about. And alright, not the best opening hand. We drew Flame Barrier, Limit Break, Battle Trance, Uppercut, and Inflame. So we got a little bit of defense, and not a lot of offense, but a lot of setup. So I think we are going to start with the Battle Trance to try to see what else we can draw into. And before I forget, let's go ahead and roll this die as well to see if we get 1 from our die. And a 2 means we do not get the defense from our loaded die. So we'll go ahead and Battle Trance to draw 3. And okay, we were hoping to draw into some AoE, maybe a little more defense. So we got our Twin Strike, our Dramatic Entrance, and our Defend that is upgraded. So still, without spending energy, we will start with our Dramatic Entrance. That's going to be dealing 3 damage because it is the first turn, 4 because of our strength from Mutagen. So the Mad Gremlin goes down to 1 and gains a strength. The Fat Gremlin is outright defeated. And Gremlin Leader takes 4, going down to 31. We still have 4 incoming damage. So we'll do a little bit of a defense and setup turn. Let's go ahead and spend 2 for our Flame Barrier. So this is going to give us 3 block, and we deal 1 damage to all enemies that intend to attack you for each strength in their, or for each attack in their next action. So we will defeat the Mad Gremlin with retaliation damage from the Flame Barrier if we just ignore it for the rest of this fight. But it is attacking us for 2 now because of that strength token, so it might be worth it to get rid of it. But I think with only 1 energy remaining, let's go ahead and play our upgraded Defend to get 2 more block so we can fully block all the damage and still deal that 1 Flame Barrier retaliation damage back to each enemy. So we can now clean up our turn. And the enemies will activate. So the Mad Gremlin will attack us for 2. Alright, my apologies. My recording stopped, so I think I am back to where my phone was last filming. So we're going to start with the Mad Gremlin attacking. We're at 5 block. It attacks us for 2, putting us down to 3 block. And the retaliation damage from the Flame Barrier will defeat the Mad Gremlin. The Gremlin Leader will then attack us for 3, which will get rid of the rest of our block. And then we'll put 1 defense and 1 strength on all enemies, which is thankfully just itself. We will then move the cube action down, so next turn it is attacking us for 6 damage. And with that, we'll get our energy back and draw our hand. And not incredible, we just drew 2 basic defends, a strike, rupture, and bash. Not great for the amount of damage we're about to be taking, so we're going to do what we can to mitigate that. We will spend 2 energy on 2 basic defends to get us 2 block. And I think it's going to be worth it to go ahead and use our Rupture to gain us a strength and lose 1 HP now. We want to do this now because losing that HP here, going down to 9, activates our self-forming clay. So we're going to go ahead and use this now to get that 3 block. So we now have a total of 5 block. We've got 1 energy remaining, so we'll use our basic strike to attack for 2, taking the Gremlin Leader down to 29. And sorry, they did have a shield, so they are actually at 30. And now we'll go ahead and clean up and go to the Gremlin Leader's turn. I guess we should have rolled the die. If we can get 1 more, we might be able to full block here. And we did. Okay, so if we had rolled that at the beginning, we would have already had one more block, putting us at 6. So the Gremlin leader will attack us for 6, and we actually will block it all. Thankfully, we drew the Rupture at the right time to get that self-forming clay to help us out there. And now the Gremlin leader will go down. So next turn, he's going to revive all of the dead Gremlins. So we hate to see that, but we do still have a cleave we haven't drawn yet. So maybe we'll get lucky and draw that when we need it. In the meantime, we'll go back to our 3 energy and draw our hand. And we did end up drawing the rest of our deck, so we're going to shuffle our discard pile here. And get our Twin Strike. So for this turn, we have our upgraded Twin Strike, our Cleave, Strike, Seeing Red, and Ghostly Armor. I think I am going to hold off on playing the Seeing Red for now. I don't think we need it this turn. I am going to spend 1 for the Ghostly Armor just because I don't think we're ready to lose it yet. So we'll go down to 2 energy to get 2 block. Then I'll go ahead and spend 1 for a Twin Strike. This will deal 3 damage each because of our strength. So 6 damage is 24 to the Gremlin leader. And then spending our last energy on a Cleave for 3 takes the Gremlin leader down to 21. We'll then clean up our area and go to the Gremlin leader, who is just going to revive the dead Gremlins. So we'll flip them back over and give them their health trackers back. Move the action cube back to the top. You can see the Gremlin leader doesn't have any grayed out cubes, so it will just rotate between all of its options here. Alright, and now this round we have a total of 6 incoming damage because the Gremlin leader now has that strength token. But so do we, so let's see if we can get another good round here to knock out some of these Gremlins. So we're back to 3 energy, we're going to draw our hand. And okay, a very defensive turn, which is pretty good, but we did draw our Battle Trance, so we'll increase our options here. Draw 3. And we drew some more Defend, Strike, and our Inflame. I wish we would have gotten the Seeing Red here as well. That would have been really nice. And no AoE is really going to hurt us right now. Let's roll our die. And a 3 does not get us any extra block. I think we will be taking quite a bit of damage on this turn, so we are just going to try to block through what we can. So we'll go down to 2 energy to play our upgraded Defend to get 2 block. We'll spend another energy for a regular unupgraded Defend to go up to 3 block. And yeah, I think we are just going to use our last energy, our last Defend, so we can go up to 4 block, block as much as we want. I was really also wanting to play our Defend power, but I think I'll go ahead and risk it a little and play this Rupture to get us extra strength for 0, but we will lose 1 HP. We're already taking a little bit. It's almost a trade for playing that Defend. But hopefully this extra defense will let us take out this Gremlin leader before we get to reviving the dead Gremlins again. So now we'll clean up. And the Gremlins will activate. So the Mad Gremlin will attack us for 1, taking us down to 3 block. Fat Gremlin will attack us for 1, taking us down to 2 block. And then Gremlin leader will attack us for 4, taking us down to 0 block. And then taking 2 more HP damage, putting us at 6. Then everyone is going to gain 1 defense and 1 strength. Or excuse me, 1 block and 1 strength. Okay, then we'll move the cube down. And now we really got a lot to take care of on this next turn. They're defended up, they're strengthened up. This is not looking great for our Ironclad. We really need to draw the cleave on this turn. That Immolate over in the rare reward discard pile is looking mighty sad that it's not in this fight right now. But we're at 3 energy. Let's draw our hand. We drew through our deck, so we're going to be shuffling. All right, so this fight is not going the way we planned it. Not a really great hand for what we need right now. We got our Limit Break, a Defend, Rupture, Uppercut, and Flame Barrier. We need to see more attacks, really like our upgraded Twin Strike, so we could start taking care of the little Gremlins, so this damage wouldn't be stacking up on us. But we've got a couple things we can do. So we're going to spend... Well, first, we're going to use our Skill Potion. So the next skill we play this turn is played twice, and we're going to use that on our Flame Barrier. So I'm going to put this up here to remind us. That's going to gain us 6 block, and then each enemy is going to take 2 retaliatory damage each time they attack. And then as much as I want to play this Limit Break, we are going to still continue to defend, spending our last energy on just a basic defend to put us up to 7. Well, actually, That'll put us right at 4, and if we're going to take damage and get down to 4 anyways, we might as well make use of our meat on the bone. So let's play it a little riskier, and instead of our defend, play our limit break to double our current strength of 2 and go to 4. And I'm going to leave that flame barrier up there to remind me real quick, but we're going to clean up. At the start of the enemy's turn, they will be removing their block, so by not playing any attacks, at least we made them foolishly waste their turn defending. That's the cope I'm telling myself right now, at least. And then the Mad Gremlin is going to attack us for 2, taking our block down to 4. And then it will take 2 retaliation damage, going down to 3. The Fat Gremlin will attack for 2, taking us down to 2 block, taking 2 retaliation damage, going down to 1. And then the Gremlin leader is going to attack for 7. With our 2 block, that means we take 5, and we go down to 1 HP. So we are going to be getting full use from that meat on the bone as long as we survive from here on out. The Gremlin leader also takes 2 from that, taking it down to 19. Okay, we really need to draw what we need right here. We're at 1 HP, so we're going to draw 5. Oh, I forgot to move the Gremlin leader down, so he is just going to revive. Okay, this is more like it. We've drawn our Ghostly Armor, Twin Strike, Inflame, Cleave, and Bash. And I think we are able to draw into lethal with this. We'll spend our first energy going down to 2 for Inflame, putting us up to 5 strength. So we then spend another energy on our Cleave, which is now up to 7 AoE, which definitely takes out the smaller gremlins. And then 7 to the Gremlin leader also takes it down to 12. And then, yes, with our last energy, our upgraded Twin Strike, doing a total of 14 damage for 1 energy, finishes off the Gremlin leader. Oh boy, we took it down to 1 HP. Thankfully, Meat on the Bone activates at the end of combat. If we have less than 4, we go to 4. And then we can activate our passive end of combat, heal 1 HP relic, to put us up to 5. And alright, this is exactly why I wanted to take as many events in Act 2 as we could. But let's go ahead and collect our rewards. We're going to get 2 gold, putting us back up to 11. We're going to get a relic. And this time we got the Abacus. Once per room, we can add +1 to the die result. And that does carry over. 6 can become a 1. And you can see on the Gremlin leader, this is actually a little bit of a different symbol. This means we get an upgraded card reward. So we draw 3 cards, choose 1, and then immediately upgrade it. So let's see our choices. We've got a Wild Strike, a Sever Soul, and a Blood for Blood. 3 energy, costs 1 if you lost HP this combat, which we do frequently. Especially with our Rupture to get that to trigger. Sever Soul is 3. We can exhaust a card in our hand. Could be good. Or a Wild Strike, just a 1 for 3 damage in a daze. I'm not feeling any of these really. So we're actually, or well, I guess let's take a look at the upgraded versions to see if we like those anymore. So an upgraded Wild Strike would give us 4. Upgraded Blood for Blood makes it cost 0. And actually, I think that might be worth it. But we'll go ahead and check the Sever Soul too. And we can exhaust 1 or 2 cards with this. And actually, I think I like the upgraded Blood for Blood, so we're going to go for that. Especially with our Rupture, we're going to be able to get good triggers out of this. And with Rupture, effectively makes this a 5 damage card for 0. And now with our 11 gold, let's go visit the Merchant. Alright, so at the Merchant, these are the colorless and regular card rewards that we drew for ourselves. And the reason we're starting with these is because I saw them and I told myself, I don't really care about any of these. So we're not even going to bother continuing to look at these. And yeah, if you've played the digital game, don't even look at Apotheosis. It's just, oh, how they nerfed my baby boy. Yeah, so let's check out the relics and the potions. So with our 11 gold, I think we like to get Anchor on sale. So you can see it has the sale -1 tag here for 5 gold at the start of combat, just being able to guarantee having 2 block for anyone that starts out attacking strong, and that'll allow us to just be able to play more of our setup cards, where if we didn't have any defense, at least now we are guaranteed through our relic to have some defense in our opening hand, so we can get prepared for these harder, longer battles. So we are going to spend 5 in order to get the Anchor Relic. That leaves us with 6 gold remaining. We have 2 slots available for potions, and I think we will go ahead and buy an energy potion because we do have a little bit of an energy problem, I think. So we spend 2 of our 6, meaning we have 4 gold remaining to buy the energy potion. And so we're going to spend that 3 gold going down to 1 and remove another basic strike from the deck. That leaves us with 1 gold, so we are done with the merchant. And now we have one last Act 2 encounter before the final boss. And so this time we're fighting the Shelled Parasite. It's going to give us a potion and a card reward, no gold. It's got 18 health, it's got various cube actions here, so let's get it set up. Alright, so at the start of combat we've got our 3 energy, our 1 strength from mutagen, and our 2 block from Anchor. So let's get our starting hand. And alright, pretty good starting hand. We drew into our combo we talked about with Rupture and Blood for Blood. We also have our Uppercut, Ghostly Armor, and Inflame. But because we are only starting at 5 HP because of all that damage we took from the Elite fight, I don't know if we want to do that this turn or not. And we do have 4 attack coming at us with only 2 block. So I definitely think we want to spend 1 energy to play our Ghostly Armor to get 2 more block going to 4. So we will be able to successfully block all the incoming damage. And as much as I'd like to play our Inflame, I think we're going to go ahead and play our Uppercut for our last 2 energy to deal 3 damage and inflict a Vulnerable and a Weaken. That will take the Shelled Parasite, because it's 4 damage with our 1 strength, down to 14. And then a Weaken and a Vulnerable. And we'll clean up and let the Shelled Parasite activate. So because of Weaken, it's only going to attack us for 3, which we will fully block, and then its Weaken will get removed. And it is also going to gain 2 block itself for the following turn. But with that Vulnerable, that's going to help us easily chew through that block to get more damage done. We'll move the cube action down. So next turn, it's going to be attacking us for 3 damage and inflicting Vulnerable on us and shielding for 2 again. Our strength does go away from mutagen. We did forget to roll a die. It wasn't going to matter that turn, but let's go ahead and do it now. And we rolled a 3. Let's draw our opening hand to see if we want to use our Abacus once per room ability. And we drew a Bash, Seeing Red, Battle Trance, Defend, and Strike. So I don't think we need to use it, but actually, yeah, let's go ahead and do it, because we'll probably end up killing the Shelled Parasite before another turn or 2 anyways. So let's make this 3, a 4 using our Abacus, which will let us trigger our loaded die to gain us 1 block starting off. We will then, of course, use our Battle Trance to draw 3, which gets us our Twin Strike and 2 defends. Then we'll go ahead and play our Seeing Red for 0, giving us 2 more energy, putting us at 5. We'll spend that 2 energy, going back down to 3 with our Bash. The Shelled Parasite is vulnerable, so that will deal 4 damage, which gets rid of the 2 block, and deals 2 more damage through, putting it at 12. But it also inflicts vulnerable again, so we'll leave that there. We will spend another energy going to 2 to play our Twin Strike. So each of those gets doubled. 4 each is a total of 8, taking the Shelled Parasite down to 4. Then the vulnerable goes away. We'll spend 1 more energy on a Strike for 1 damage, taking it to 3. And we will spend our last energy on our upgraded Defend, putting us to 3 block, which is what we will need to fully block this next attack. So the Shelled Parasite will go and attack us for 3, which gets fully blocked, and it puts a vulnerable status on us, which hopefully will not matter. We should be able to draw into 4 damage on our next turn. So we're back up to 3 energy, and let's draw. We drew out our deck, so we've got to shuffle. And alright, yeah, we've got enough here between the Cleave and the Dramatic Entrance. That's 4 damage right there, which is enough to take out the Shelled Parasite. So we will have defeated it. We'll gain another potion, putting us back up to our max of 3. And we got a Swift Potion to draw us 3 cards, just in case we ever need that on turn 1, or say we have a Seeing Red, but no Battle Trance to get us the extra cards we need. And we'll get a card reward. And we drew Heavy Blade, Entrench, and Wild Strike. Definitely don't think we're needing a Wild Striker now. Entrench will let us double our block to a max of 20. That could be good. And Heavy Blade is really good with our Strength build. And each of them adds +3 instead of +1. Yeah, I think we got to go Heavy Blade. That's just such a good attack with the Strength build that we're going for. And at the end of combat, we will heal 1, going up to 6. On the map, we just have the campsite to go to before the boss, and we are going to choose to heal. That will put us at 9 before the boss fight. And now, let's reveal the Bronze Automaton. Let's get it set up, and then we'll talk about the card. Okay, so we've got the Bronze Automaton set up. It's got 55 HP for a solo game. It's got its different cube actions here. It's going to start by gaining strength. Then AoE attacks for 1 and 1. Then it's going to gain strength and remove all weakness and vulnerable from itself. And then a huge 7 damage attack, which by that point will actually be 9 because of the strength it gains. So, man, we really, if it gets to that point twice, I think we just lose. I don't know if we could even possibly block that much consistently with the way our deck is built. So we really want to get this Bronze Automaton down fast. Set up at the beginning, getting our strength engine running is going to be huge. We've also got the Bronze Orb over here to contend with, because you can see at the bottom, at the start of combat, we are summoning 1 Bronze Orb per player. So obviously they've got different die checks depending on what we roll, different die abilities, starting with 19 health. We're at 3 energy, 2 block. We're drawing our starting hand. And we at least started with a little bit of AoE. We got our Limit Break, Blood for Blood, Defend, Uppercut, and Dramatic Entrance. So not exactly what we wanted to see, but we did just get that Swift Potion. So I think we're going to start by using that to seeing what else we can get. But first, let's go ahead and roll the die. Okay, and a 6. So that means the Bronze Orb is going to be attacking for 2 and putting a Daze in our draw pile. But it also means we get to trigger a die ability. So we will go ahead and gain another block, putting us at 3 block for the start of the round, which we didn't necessarily need because we were already fully defending against the Bronze Orb and the Bronze Automaton was not attacking yet. But still, we will take it. That being said, let's go ahead and use our Swift Potion to draw 3 more cards. Okay, and with that we drew our Strike, Flame Barrier, and Battle Trance. And like I said, this is super important. Let's go ahead and use our Battle Trance. That'll put us down to 7, drawing 3, putting us at our max hand size of 10. And all right, we drew a Cleave, Heavy Blade, and Twin Strike. We've got a lot to work with here. We are definitely also going to go ahead and use our energy potion this early on. That will give us 5 energy. We're going to start by spending 1, going down to 4, and playing our Limit Break, which will get us some strength that we can start building on top of when we lose our 1 from Mutagen. Then for 0, we're going to play our Dramatic Entrance. And it is turn 1, so we get 2, 3. 3 plus 2 more from our strength. So a 5 damage AoE, and it is exhausted. So the Bronze Orb goes down to 14, and the Bronze Automaton goes down to 50. Then we will spend 1 energy, going to 3. And we're going to play our Twin Strike on the Bronze Orb. So with 2 strength, each of these deal... With 2 strength, each of these deal 4, so that's going to be 8 damage to the Bronze Orb, taking it down to 6. And we could take out the Bronze Orb this turn if we want, but since we are fully blocking, it's not as high of a priority, so I think we want to try to get some damage on the Bronze Automaton too. So let's go ahead and spend 1 more for a Cleave, which will do 4 AoE, putting us down to 2 energy. Bronze Orb is at 2. So just a basic strike will take it out. And the Bronze Automaton goes down to 46. And yeah, let's use our last 2 energy for a little bit of setup on the Bronze Automaton with our Uppercut. We're going to deal it 5 damage and put Vulnerable and Weaken on it. That takes it down to 41. Vulnerable and Weak. And with that, we'll clean up our area. And it will be the enemy's turn. So the Bronze Orb is going to attack us for 2, which we will block. And it will put a Dazed on top of our draw pile. Then the Bronze Automaton is just going to gain a Strength. And we'll move its cube action down. And so while the Weak token is here, it will effectively cancel out the Strength for this next attack. So it'll just be 2 instances of 1 damage coming at us. And it is our next turn. So we'll go ahead and draw our hand. We know we got that Daze on top. Okay, and then we drew a Defend, Inflame, Bash, and Seeing Red. So yeah, not that great of a hand here. We might end up just using our Explosive Potion to finish off the Bronze Orb. So let's roll the die. And on a 3, we will go ahead and use the Abagus to make this a 4, which will allow us to gain the 1 block. And yeah, let's just go ahead and use Explosive Potion, 2 damage to any row. So that will defeat the Bronze Orb. And 2 damage to the automaton, takes it down to 20 or 39. I'll spend 1 energy on Inflame to gain myself another strength. I forgot to remove the one from mutagen, so I'll just leave that there. We haven't attacked or anything yet, so it didn't matter. We have that 2 strength permanently now. And I could go ahead and play this Defend to fully block if I wanted, but that would leave me with 1 energy, which I can't do anything with unless I want to play my Seeing Red to play the Bash, which I don't really want to do. And just taking 1 damage from this attack will allow us to be able to activate our self-forming clay in the future. So I think I'm going to go ahead and spend my last 2 energy on a Bash. So it's already vulnerable. So this is going to do 4 doubled to 8. So that's going to take it down to 31. And then we will reapply the vulnerable, so that will stay there. So we'll clean up, get rid of our Daze. And now the Bronze Automaton is going to attack us for 2 instances of 1. We have 1 block, so we are going to take 1 damage, going down to 8, but that does put our self-forming clay online. The Weaken will then go away after that, and we will move the action down to Strengthen and remove all Weaken and Vulnerable, which hopefully we will remove that Vulnerable ourselves at the end of this turn. And we'll go ahead and draw. We have to shuffle our discard pile. And alright, this time we've got our Rupture, Defend, Ghostly Armor, Uppercut, and Blood for Blood. We have lost HP this combat, so also our Blood for Blood is online since we took damage from that last attack. And that's actually going to be our best bet for damage, so let's roll the die real quick. Okay, and a 3, so that does nothing for us. We're going to go ahead and start with Rupture, so we're going to gain another Strength, putting us up to 3, and taking 1 HP damage, taking us down to 7. Then we'll play our Blood for Blood, which costs us 0 if we lost HP this combat, which we have. So 4 plus 3 Strength is 7. 7 doubled with Vulnerable is 14. So that means we're going down to 27. Or sorry, we're going down to 17 with the Bronze Automaton. Then we will remove the Vulnerable. And we still have 3 energy remaining. So we'll go ahead and make sure we can keep our Ghostly Armor for 1. And then we will spend our last 2 on an Uppercut. So that's going to do 6 damage, taking it down to 11. And we're going to apply Vulnerable and Weaken, but since we're about to just remove it anyways, well here, I'll just go ahead and put on it just so we can show all of the actions. If I were playing on my own, I would just ignore it and remember and move on, but here we go. So we'll clean up our area. And the Automaton activates, it's going to gain another Strength and then remove these debuffs. Then we move the cube down, and now we have a 9 damage attack coming in. So we have to be able to put up at least 3 block on this next turn, or just beat the Automaton. One or the other has to happen, because if this attack goes through unchecked by 2 or less block, we will be defeated. So let's draw and see what happens. And a beautiful draw that was. I think with our Heavy Blade, we have 3 strength, so 3 times 3, 9, 9 plus 3 is 12. Yes, that is enough. With 2 energy, we can play our Heavy Blade for 12 damage and defeat the Bronze Automaton before it can get its big attack off. And so we will gain 3 gold from that, putting us at 4. We will gain another boss relic. And this time we got Calling Bell. This means we're going to get 3 relics and then a curse. Okay, one of the more fun relics in the game, just to kind of see what random stuff you get. So let's see how it translates here. 3 relics off the top. And 3 great relics indeed. We got Incense Burner. When we roll a 6, we can't lose more than 1 HP this round. Gremlin Horn, on a 4 or 5, we draw a card or gain an energy. And with the Courier, once per combat, we can look at the top card of the potion or relic deck and buy it or discard it. All right, that is an incredible pull. We will line all these up, and now we will remember to do this time. At the end of the video, we've got a rare card reward, so let's draw and see. Okay, Demon Form, Double Tap, or Exhume. Okay, this is interesting. So Exhume right now, this could get us our dramatic entrance for a 0-cost AoE or seeing red back, which isn't too necessary. Maybe not that. Double tap, 1 energy to play a huge attack. Now that could be good, especially stacking up weakens with the uppercut. And then obviously Demon Form just plays into what we're doing. Just at the start of turn, we gain strength. But I do think we have enough ways to gain strength right now, and we still don't have any more extra energy to start with than the 3. We have not been getting energy relics. So I think we're going to go with a double tap. This is also good just for even our upgraded twin strike, especially now that we have all this strength. Yeah, I think we're going to go with the double tap. And now lastly, let's gain our Curse from Calling Bell, and we drew a Decay. This is unplayable, and at the end of turn, if this card is in your hand, we're going to take 1 damage. Okay, so we're definitely going to be looking to remove this curse from a merchant as soon as we can. And that is Act 2 of our solo Ascension 1 Ironclad run in Slay the Spire, the board game. This has been Solo Party. My name is Kane. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all for Act 3 in the next video.